And we're going to start off tonight with breaking news in Northwest Portland. Dozens of police units are in the area of Northwest Pettygrove Street and 26th Avenue looking for the suspects involved in a shooting. This is a live look at the scene where the suspects left a vehicle and ran away. Police have brought 2 people into custody and are looking for a third. A shelter in place is in effect for the people in the area. Stay with KGW for any updates to this breaking news. And it was a terrifying scene in northern Idaho where firefighters were called to a brush fire only to be met by gunfire. It happened at Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene early this afternoon. 2 firefighters were killed, a third was injured. Tonight, SWAT officers found a man dead near the scene and also discovered a gun nearby, prompting officials to lift their shelter-in-place order. Maddie White has the latest.
Some law enforcement right now, there's an active shooter zone. BC3's down, BC1's down. Everybody shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
A firefighter's calls for help.
We need law enforcement up here immediately. Law enforcement up here immediately.
Publicly available on broadcastify.com.
We've got another Coeur d'Alene firefighter down. Needs help immediately. We need law enforcement immediately.
The chilling audio paints a picture of fear and urgency.
We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down. I'm pinned down behind Battalion 1's rig. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
First responders are calling this an ambush.
I have no idea where the shooter's at or where they're going or which direction.
Stay away from the area.
Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris
It appears that modern-day sporting rifles are being used.
referred to the shooting as sniper fire.
And a moving tribute to the fallen firefighters. This video from Spokane Valley Fire shows a procession for the fallen heroes. Fellow firefighters took a moment to honor the 2 lives lost during this tragic event. Strangers lined the highway as well to pay tribute. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage out of Coeur d'Alene. A Vancouver mother is speaking out tonight after a man attempted to abduct her 5-year-old child from the front yard of their home last week. The 21-year-old suspect had been arrested earlier this year for trying to pay teenage girls for sex, but had posted bail and was released. Now, this family hopes he won't be let out again. A Vancouver mother who wants to be identified as Dakota says she had just arrived home on June 25th when she noticed a white Nissan Versa sitting on her street.
He looked a little out of place, but at the same time he didn't because he was blocking my neighbor's driveway. And I assumed they had to have company because who would block another person's driveways?
Dakota says the vehicle sat in the road for about 30 minutes before one of her twin 5-year-old daughters came running inside.
My daughter come busting in the door to let me know that a man out here told her to go onto the street and he would give her the toy if she met him on the street.
You can see the child running back inside on this Ring security video while the white Versa drives away.
Mentally, it's constantly racing in my mind over and over that it even happened and what could have happened.
Dakota contacted Vancouver police after the incident. They were able to identify the vehicle and arrest 21-year-old Alexander Wright-Brock. VPD says Wright-Brock had been trying to lure the child towards him by using a magic trick. He has been charged with 2 felony counts for this incident. The 21-year-old was out on bail after being arrested in March for allegedly approaching teen girls in that same Nissan Versa and attempting to pay them for sex. Now this family says they will be at every court appearance Wright-Brock makes going forward, doing what they can to make sure he isn't released before standing trial.
He tried to ruin my life. He tried to ruin my daughter's life. And honestly, my intention is to help ruin his life too.
The fact that he's had the opportunity to be out in the streets is unfair to us as a community, and the prosecutor needs to do their job and keep him in jail.
Investigators are looking into what caused a deadly single vehicle crash in Forest Grove. It happened around 7:20 last night on Southwest Fern Hill Road and Geiger Road. The Forest Police Department says the vehicle rolled over and ejected the driver, who died on scene. He's been identified as 62-year-old Brian Blunt. No one else was hurt. New tonight, firefighters in the Vancouver area worked together to get a large fire under control that was seen across the Portland metro. We're still working to get information from first responders, but we do know they were called to a structure near Fisher's Landing. We spoke to a few people who witnessed the flames, including one person who lived nearby.
We came from downtown Vancouver, a little past that. We came all the way here. I mean, just follow the smoke.
In the stratosphere. It's out there.
It's way out there.
There's about 60-foot flames on the east side of our property. Looked like the mill. We're pretty lucky. We live in a county and a district that's well supported with our firefighters and EMS personnel.
Our photojournalist on scene told us by around 8:20 this evening the fire was nearly out. Again, we're still waiting on details from first responders.
I opened the window and then you could just hear just a roaring fire, and then we actually felt the heat on our face.
In Newburgh, fire investigators are looking into what caused a wooden train trestle to catch fire. The fire broke out just before 3 this morning on an inactive rail line. Firefighters were able to limit the fire to nearby vegetation and to the trestle, which was significantly damaged. All right, turning now to weather. Let's take a live look outside over Portland right now, where we saw some beautiful blue skies throughout the day with temperatures touching 90 degrees. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us as well tonight. Joe, a warm way to end the weekend and more heat on the way for tomorrow?
We have one more day of hot conditions. This was somewhat easy going compared to what you'll be running into tomorrow, only by a couple degrees. So we're not going to be seeing a big difference for your Monday. But today we topped out right around the upper 80s, low 90s, which is exactly what we were expecting. Along the Oregon coast, you got into the warm weather as well, at least for the beaches for this time of year, topping out about 73 degrees in both Astoria and Tillamook. The Dow's 95 degrees earlier this afternoon. And looking at tomorrow, it is going to be a warm start. By 9 o'clock, we're going to be looking at temperatures right around the low 70s. By the early part of the afternoon, the low 90s, and seeing daytime highs anywhere from about 90 to 95 degrees. Now, the real heat will be out through the Columbia River Basin and to eastern Oregon along I-84, where a heat advisory will be in effect until starting in effect tomorrow and staying up until Tuesday night with, temperatures anywhere from the upper 90s to low 100s. That's near the Dalles. West side of the state won't be seeing that kind of heat, but it will be definitely on the warm side to start off the work week. On the satellite and radar, we have this ridge of high pressure in place, John, that is going to be in place the entire week. We'll talk more about just what we can expect to see temperature-wise and also talk about that big holiday that's just a few days away as well.
All right, Joe, we'll see you later in the show. Well, if you were planning on heading to the beaches at Savvi Island this warm holiday weekend, make sure you have your parking permit and pass ready to show. Starting this 4th of July, you will be required to get a Savvi Island beach pass to park. Now, this is due to an overcapacity of vehicles that threaten public safety and wildlife habitats. Arceline Stevens breaks down the new pilot program.
I think it's a wonderful thing.
That's going to create a lot of chaos.
Opposing opinions about the new pilot program for parking at Savvi Island beaches. It's a limited entry pass that beachgoers will need for holidays and weekends, in addition to the wildlife area parking permit, if they want to park at the beaches starting this 4th of July.
We have about 900 spots there, and we can see on some days over 2,600 vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles crossing now on a hot day like this.
The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife says problems with double parking on dry, grassy areas that can start a fire, and the need to keep the roads clear for emergency service vehicles make this pass a necessity.
Last year there was a fire that blocked part of Reeder Road, and we had to direct a lot of people on some of our other roads to get them safely off the area. So that really just brought up the safety issue that we've had for a long time.
Residents in the area are thrilled.
When you have thousands of people on the beach, how do you find that person who's double parked behind somebody else? How do we get people off the island safely? People are just going to have to plan ahead, and I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Meanwhile, many beachgoers I spoke with weren't aware of the change, but aren't as happy.
Really inconvenient, especially if you've already bought your pass for the year like we have. It does get really crowded. So I can sort of understand where they're coming from and trying to limit. But I don't know, I think it just complicates things.
ODFW says you should get your pass ahead of time online or from a licensed agent.
So if people want to know where they can find the pass, you can go to myodfw.com we have an opportunity there to see where all the licensed agents are throughout the state.
That won't stop some from still coming out and enjoying the sun.
No, it won't deter us. It's just a great little escape to get away from Portland, and we really enjoy being out here, so we'll follow it.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.